There are two most controversial things on earth that exist right now. First, it's a social media post of the President of the United States, and the second one is discussions about current conditions of the Toronto real estate market. And by this video, I'll try to bring a little bit more sanity and order in our controversial world. Hi, welcome to Living, Selling, Buying, and Renting in Toronto, YouTube channel with real estate accent. My name is Oleg Alex Lakritz. I'm a realtor with Sutton Group Admiral Realty, and I'm helping my clients achieve their real estate goals in Greater Toronto area. But enough about me. Let's get back to the business. So, as usual, at the beginning of the month, Toronto Regional Real Estate Board produced and make it open to public monthly report. That's called MarketWatch. I have on my channel the big video that explains this report, how to read it, where to find. So if you're interested, at the end of this video, it's going to be the link to that video. So please watch it. So I'm not going to discuss this one. Let's get back to the numbers. But before I'll show those numbers to you, I want to stress that probably for the long period of time, this report kind of cautiously optimistic. It was kind of cautiously optimistic in that way, so some of my colleagues start dancing their happy dances and proclaiming that here we go, we're the turning point. True or not? Let's take a look. But first, let's go through the numbers.
Работы. Here we go, Market Watch for July 2026. Probably the most controversial for the long period of time. A lot of pages, a lot of information, but for our today's conversation, we're gonna need just one table, year-over-year summary. Let's take a look on this table. So we have sales. Sales, surprisingly, in this month, very little bit less. May and June, it was the higher number sales compared to the same period of last year. But this month, almost 1% lower. So the sales down. However, those numbers for the 2025, it was the worst numbers in 30 years. The smallest amount of sales. Please keep this in mind. Let's take a look on inventory. So the new listings, the properties that came on the market in July 2026, the amount was 20% lower than the same period of time a year ago. And the active listings shrinked as well. So the whole inventory, and by the way, active listings shrink by 12% comparatively to the July 2025. So new listings and active listings, the inventory is shrinking. This is the numbers for July 2026. At the same time, when the inventory is shrinking, sales are down, and the average price still continue to go down comparatively to the same period of year ago for the July 2025. And the difference is almost 5%, minus 4.5%. At the same time, it takes more time, more days to sell the property on average on market. So this is the current conditions of the Toronto real estate market in July 2026, based on the record numbers for that month. And as I said, it was the most controversial and the most interesting numbers for the pretty long period of time.
So this is the numbers. At the first sight, it's not quite impressive. Price still goes down. Even sales reduced compared to July and especially year over year. Why so many buzz? Why some people dancing, happy dancing, screaming that it's turning point and soon we're gonna see sunshine in the sky? I'll explain you. The secret is in two numbers, and actually dynamic of the numbers. Dynamic of the existing properties available for sale, inventory, and dynamic with the new listing, the new properties that coming on the market, and they both reducing. So we have less and less available properties for sale, which means it's going to create extra pressure on the buyers. They're not going to feel so free to choose from different options. So basically, supply going to create extra pressure on the buyers, and the buyers going to be paying a little bit more price. They're going to be willing to pay more price for the homes, and the price gradually starts turning around and starts climbing back. It used to work like this. That's why, and it's logical. I'm sure you agree with me, it's very logical. Supply and demand. But we have one thing that a lot of people simply overlook or forget to think about it. This is foundational thing for the housing market. Around this major factor built everything, and it's called emotions. Yes, residential real estate market, it's emotional based market. And it depends what kind of emotions have buyers and sellers. Those emotions, it's a major shaping force of the current conditions of the housing market. And maybe these numbers could give some cautious optimism. But from other side, I see what's happening in the trenches with my clients in real life on the streets of Greater Toronto area. I hear the stories from my colleagues who dealing with the real estate every day, really dealing, and it's quite different. And I would say the major emotion that pushing real estate market right now, that's shaping conditions of the housing market in Greater Toronto, is one word. I could express it in one word: uncertainty. Everyone is uncertain. And it's not only on housing market. We all together uncertain on some things. Majorly, it's economic. And by the way, in the wording for that report, it says that even if the tendency exists, there is some economical factors that could influence recovery or conditions the housing market. And I would stress that those outside conditions, mostly economical, political, you name it. You go to the store, you see the prices there. You go to the gas stations to pump gas in your car, you see the prices, what's going on. Even if you're driving electrical cars, you're still passing by. And even if you don't spend gas money directly, well, you're going to pay this at the grocery store because that's how the economy works. We all, in Canada, households overtaxed. We're paying 42% on average. 42% on average of our household income, combined household income, goes for taxes. We don't have a lot of money to spend. And services, educational cost, if you have kids, everything goes up. Everything, they want our money. We don't have a lot. Plus, total instability, political and economical. We don't know what's going to be with the tariffs, what's going to be with the jobs. Some jobs could be eliminated, employment could be eliminated. So people don't feel secure, they feel uncertain. And if you feel uncertain, if we all feel uncertain, we're definitely going to delay any major financial decisions. We're going to wait. And buying and selling real estate, it's one of the biggest and major financial decisions in the life of the ordinary person. I believe in every one person. So this is the major emotion, uncertainty. And it creates interesting effect. First of all, about sales. I know for sure that now in the market there are people who need to sell for some reason. Life is life. You need to sell. You're going overseas, you get employment in another country, you're going back to the country where you came from, or you downsize, you need to downsize, you could not keep your bigger house, you need to downsize to the smaller because of the age or physical conditions, or you need to, your family is growing up and you need to sell your smaller place and buy a big one. So it's properties for sale with the real reason they need to sell. Any other who could wait, they could try the market and then come back. And if they not receive what they want, they back off and wait for another time. That's why the inventory reducing. And that's why we have sales. And comparatively to last year, a lot of sellers realized this, that in order to sell their homes, they need to reduce the price. They need to accept what the buyers could offer them. And if they're not accepting, they're going to stay on the market or terminate and suspend their listings and wait for better time. Unless if they really want to sell, they have to accept what the market offer them, what the buyers offer them. And what could buyers offer them? Buyers insecure as well. And a lot of buyers right now, they're waiting for prices to go down more, waiting to feel more secure to buy. And those buyers who already buying, who already on the market, they very cautious as well. And they have tendency to offer less, negotiate better deal. And if it doesn't work for them, they back off, go for another property, or come back on a fence and sitting there watching what's happening there. And I will share the story that actually proving this my point. So where we are now, I have two pictures in mind. First, it's like big stadium. In the middle, it's a field, soccer or football field. And on that football field, it's kind of real estate market. And there is two fences on the sides. On one fence, it's a sellers, on another, it's buyers. And they sitting and watching what's happening there and waiting for the moment when it's going to be better for them to go inside. I call it delay interest. And a lot of people waiting for this. That's why it creates this impression that real estate market is stabilizing and it's turning point. It's not turning point. It's stabilizing. I believe it's stabilizing. It become more or less unbalanced. The price that sellers wants to gonna accept and the buyers gonna offer, it comes closer, and that gap it's narrowing. That's why the price still coming down, but the home price index actually getting better dynamic. But this is forced balance. It's not balanced of the great and feelings of the buyers and sellers. It's actually opposite. It's a balance. Uncertainty create conditions when it's kind of forced balance. And I believe that we are now not at the turning point at all. Prices, well, don't get me wrong, prices gonna go up. It's 100% sure, but the most important question, what's gonna happen before they're gonna go up, and when actually it's gonna stop, and then how long it's gonna take from the plateau to go up. That's the most important questions. And I believe, we all very far from the even kind of plateau. We probably see some price decline. I believe right now we are at the intersection. We have three ways that we face. So housing market could choose any three of these paths. First one is very positive, very bright. Sellers and buyers become more confident, prices goes up, buyers gonna buy without remorse, go to the buyers auctions, blah, 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 all the stuff that we already have seen. The prices again go over the sky, over the roof. Sky is the limit, right? Probably not for a long time. The second path, very negative path. Everything gonna get worse. The buyers not gonna buy. The sellers, even in case they need to sell it, they're gonna slash the prices more and more, and then gonna compete with each other how lower they could go. which is going to bring lower prices and lower sales as well, because the buyers, they're not going to be interested to buy. And this is very, very unfortunate. More possibly going to happen than the positive way. Why? Because economically we're not in the best shape as a country, and plus we are prone to a lot of black swan events. Extra tariff from the guy was the most controversial posts on Earth, social media posts. They could implement whatever they want. It looks like we have a deal, but we don't know what we're gonna have. We have a deal or not, and well, again, I promise not to discuss this politics. Any wars, any catastrophe, fires anywhere in the world could be a black swan event for our economy and for the housing market as a part of that whole economy picture. But honestly, I try to be cautiously optimistic, and I believe that we're still gonna see a little bit better pass, neutral pass, which everything gonna continue like we already have. So the buyers gonna be cautious. The sellers, yeah, it's gonna be, because life is life. If you need to, you have to sell it. And yes, they're gonna accept what the buyer's gonna offer them, and this difference between what the buyer's willing to offer and the seller's willing to accept gonna be more and more narrow. So at some point we come to that plateau level when the market's gonna be balanced, not forcefully, but naturally balanced. And I hope, if there is no black swan events and we're not gonna turn again on a negative path, it's probably for the maybe next year, till next year, we're gonna see this path, neutral path. So this is where we're standing. And now I want to share some story from the last month, from July sales, and I'm gonna give you a story about some house in Richmond Hill, York region. Richmond Hill, desirable area, desirable community. Very good established community, expensive. They have great correction of the prices, by the way, but the prices on average in that community is still over 1.5 million, because predominantly it's detached single family homes, nice big, some older, some customly built homes on a nice lots. So even with the correction of the price, it's still very expensive neighborhood. On the outskirts of that community, there is small, just few rows of the townhomes, very small amount. And they rarely comes on the market. So in one of these rows, one townhome was available for sale in July. It was listed below 1 million, 980, something like this. It was listed with the intention to create extra interest, and with the certain date set it for the offers. So it was auction style sale. I showed this property for two of my clients. They didn't like both of them. Both of them don't like it, but I forgot about it. We start looking for another homes, and but because I showed two times this property on the auction date, I received the email that today we have auction day. Today it's offer night, and we already have one offer registered. It was somewhere around offer time was somewhere around 8. So the time 8 p.m. when you have to register your offer, and at 8 p.m. Seller gonna be discuss this offer. So 8 p.m. it was the offer time. So around 6 p.m. I received the first email that it's going to be this offer presentation time and tonight, and they already have one registered offer. And then I start receiving certain emails, certain messages that 3 more offers, 4 more offers, 5 more offers. Wow, I start paying attention to this, to these emails, to these messages, and at the time of the offer presentation time at 8 p.m. they have 21 registered offer for one property. Wow, I was surprised. I checked the story of this townhome complex, townhome rows. The recent three sales. First one was in 2022 at the peak, and it was over 1.5 million. was 1,536,000, I believe, if I'm wrong, but it was over 1.5 million. And last year they have two sales at the same complex, and one sale was very close to 1.3 million, another was more closer to 1.2 million. 1.2 million, 260,000, something like this. So like I look at those sales and I look at the number of the offers, 21 offer, decide, wow, interesting. It's probably going to be one that it's going to be definitely, if it's going to be sold, it's going to be sold overpriced of the listing price, but it's not a big deal because it was listed in a very low, below the market value. But probably we're going to see the example when the sales actually going to be the same or even bigger than the one of the last year sales. So I was intrigued. I waited a little bit when the sale was completed, and I checked the sales price for how much it was sold. I was surprised. It was sold for a little bit over 1.1 million. Yes, it was sold over the asking price, but again, it was priced very low competitively to bring more attention, to bring more offers. It has a lot of offers, 21 offer, even comparatively to the times when the sale of the home with the sellers was in charge of the market. Even like in that time, 21 offer, it's a lot. And they still accepted the price below last year's sales. So it's actually proving that Market Report give you the real stories, MarketWatch. And at the same time, it's proving that it was a lot of buyers interested to buy. They come up with the offer, but they were willing to offer less than it was to be 1 year ago. I'm not even talking about for how much this house comparatively to this listing was sold in 2022, just basically 4 years ago. So this is exactly showing what's happening. The buyers are there, they want to buy, but they're not willing to overpay for the listing properties. They're willing to negotiate it. Or if they come to the auction, they're going to offer lower or market value. At the same time, the sellers, they have to accept what they get, or they have to relist and wait. And I see every day a lot of listings that they were listed with the idea of the auction. Probably they're going to have something or not at all. They didn't receive any suitable for them offers for them. And it was simply relisted with the higher price, and they're sitting on the market 30, 40, 50, and more days. I've seen some listings 110 days and more. This is what's really happening on the market. So I don't believe we are at the turning point. We're not going to see the prices go over sky again. And I honestly believe we on the road to the very, very good, balanced for long time market. And if nothing bad happened to our economy, if it's not going to be any black swan events. This is reality. It's not negative, it's not positive. This is reality. And only we are decided, is it good for us or bad? That's what I believe. And I want to share also, not just comment what's happening in the market. I want to give you some ideas, some strategies, how you're gonna get the most benefits from the current conditions of the housing market if you decided to sell, buy, or rent the property. So it's gonna be in my next video, and it's gonna be like second part to this video. So please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you're not gonna miss it. And well, if you, I'm gonna be very interested and very appreciative if you share your vision of what's happening on the housing market in Greater Toronto right now. how you feel about this, how you feel about my ideas. Maybe you have points that we turning and everything bright. So please share your ideas in a comment, and I'm definitely gonna discuss, I'm gonna answer, or maybe I'm gonna even make another video just to discuss your ideas and give some answers to you. And if you have more specific answers, if you're planning or if you need to buy or sell or rent in the next 100 days or so, please do not hesitate. Contact me, call me, email me, text me, or leave a comment. I will contact you and we'll discuss your personal stories and how you, and I will share the strategies that is going to be tailored for your personal stories. I hope I bring a little bit more sanity to this world by this video. Thank you for watching it, and see you in the next time.